we actually get a glimpse of the bomb. I thought it was an odd choice to show the top of the bomb.
The bullet part of it?
Yeah, the bullet part of the bomb, the cone of the bomb.
It's not out of its little...
It's not
rising
risen.
platform.
It's not risen yet. That's a good word
anything.
for it.
It was just kind of odd. And then there's your moment when the gorillas actually kind of break the door and move through.
It's just, and when they do, it's kind of like, oh, hello, we're here now.
They just...
Yeah, they burst the door and they just kind of casually walk in because they didn't meet resistance.
Right.
Is that what it was?
You mean the resistance?
I go back to, you think of, let's see, great example. Two Towers.
Okay.
You've got that. When they break that door, how long does that go on that they battle and battle and battle as they try to break it? And when they break it, they get through and somebody gets stabbed by what they're breaking. Good Lord. It's just, why even worry about getting a battering ram? Just open the fucking door.
You know what they didn't do? They didn't turn the knob.
That's what it is.
Somebody
they need to call a locksmith.
You have to look at the moment to notice when the doors come through that Ursus and Zaius are in the very front of these gorillas, so they were kind of front of the doors, and they walk through, and I had no reason to understand why this was the last place. Is everybody else dead? Are all the other mutants, have they ferreted out
how do these
all the
apes
mutants?
find this way to go to the church? Why are they deliberately going there? Yeah.
And this is the one door that all the military leaders, Zaius and Ursus and Sergeant and everybody has to go through. Like, there was no reason why this is the place to go to.
This would have been the part where, in the earlier scenes, when we saw lots and lots of apes coming through, and not just 20, 30 that are in this scene, that you would have had scenes where you would have had a higher up shot of the ruined city, and you would have seen apes dispersing among the whole thing to comb out and see everything, and then maybe you get some coming back with their scouts saying that we can't find anybody in the city, but we hear something over here, and that's when everybody comes back and gets here. There's no reason that they all just gather at the church all of a sudden.
I all of a sudden jump back to Albina killing herself, and if it had been like I kind of suggested a few minutes ago, where Mendez is more of a cult leader, then you could echo even, the Manson killing type thing and whatnot.
Hell, if they had like speakers going through the whole city of
if he had given
the
her
holy
the
radiation
vial,
will save us.
That anything like that would make sense, and suddenly, and then when I started thinking with that, what if he gave her the vial? What if he's setting up his little plan, and maybe he's the one that's led the apes here because he wants them in there. He did something to a light comes on, so they come in there, so they're completely annihilated when it goes off.
I love the idea that Mendez did something to get them to come to the church,
and the church
that he can do his ultimate thing, and that's why. Well, I mean that almost makes sense. It's not in the script, but that almost sounds like what Dane would have suggested.
It almost seems like that's where he's going, but it doesn't do it.
Right.
This is what you do in the church service. It's like, you're going to go back to your secure places. This is my body. This is my blood. The blood being the poison that he gave to everybody else. That. I don't know what the body part would be, if it's a little radiation chip or something like that.
His face. He peels it off. Here's my body.
He takes little pieces of his mask off and gives it to him.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, if
that would have justified her having the poison and maybe everybody else being ready to kill themselves as well.
And that would have been interesting. Instead of them being gunned down at that particular moment, we see them making that decision. I'm going to take this poison, and then I get gunned down. Something like this is the thing. So it's at 48 seconds that we actually get a random quick shot. For whatever reason, they're inside the church.
Yeah, how they got up into the top of the church.
Well, it's very important one of that shot's there because we need them there. We need them suddenly in the cathedral so we can have the final showdown. We've only got about 4.5 minutes to get this done.
I guess there's other entrances to the cathedral. So Taylor and Brent appear from screen right. They're darting from behind a column. Taylor is leading across first. He's got the rifle that he picked off the soldier that had killed Nova. So that was a nice addition. Brent still has
gave up the mace. Yeah.
Brent still has his mace, but not the rifle.
Oh yeah, they were
not yet anyway.
Rifle.
Yeah, and it's a very quick, hurried
dash
darting shot, and it came out of nowhere a little bit. It would have been nice to see them actually kind of spend a moment figuring out where they are.
I thought you could at least do somewhere in there is if there's commotion coming from the cathedral, you could go to a moment of Brent and Taylor together and once again use audio cues. They could hear the commotion. They could turn, and there's a ladder that goes up into a tube that they go. And if we even saw them climbing up and then cut to that, well, suddenly we know now that they've gone from that location and climbed up to it. But it's very odd that it's just dropped in.
How you motivate it is by what comes up in the next couple of minutes. Unfortunately, since I know that, the next 5 minutes, where Brent is going, what you do is you see where they want to go. They find a way to get there. They point there, and then they go there instead of already being up there where they're pretty much where they want to be.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they're in the tile area, the thing that was used for Land of the Giants, they get some kind of cue. That's what points them in that direction. They see a ladder. We see them climb up. They were in the place that had subway tile all over it, and now we see them come out of a tube and into this area. We know they've done it.
Just magically being above everybody else.
It's not even magically. It's magically and just by happenstance to be in the right area.
It's plot necessary.
Exactly.
So they dart across to another kind of column. We get a shot then back on Ursus and Zaius and the gorillas as they start to fill the cathedral. Again, they're very casual about moving in. We then get another shot coming back to Brent and Taylor as they seem to be analyzing the situation. Now, granted, Taylor is squinting, so I'm not sure if he needs his glasses on.
He does. Grandpa Taylor needs glasses.
He needs his glasses. I would have seen Zaius. And I would have begun thinking about what that means and what I could do with Zaius.
Oh, it's funny you say that because I thought that the Taylor at the end of the last film, and it's escalated to this point, he's lost the one thing he loved in Nova, would have taken the gun and shot Zaius at that point. You really want to make him an anti-hero?
Be like Zaius!
Yeah, and you make him the anti-hero where he is snapped. Yeah. And maybe Brent tries to reach for the gun and stop, but he gets him. And there missed opportunities like this. So speaking of missed opportunities, I've already talked about that. I thought the bomb should have already been ticking long ago.
Yeah.
In this minute, we begin to see Mendez playing with the Fortress of Solitude controls.
Crystals, yes.
Yeah, we find out that he was kneeling that entire time. He was kneeling in front of the control panel.
So he starts, as he acknowledges the apes are there, essentially.
He turns and looks at them.
And he begins to push the buttons. If you didn't want to have your bomb ticking before, it needs to tick right now. Now. They're in the room. Bam. I've got you here, and now it's ticking. This is so fucking wrong. He turns around and he goes for, at this point, his plan may not work because he turns around to look at the fucking apes. What if they shoot him right there?
They should have shot him. Exactly.
My note actually was here. If the apes are so gun happy, the first time they saw the telepaths, why are they not shooting them all?
And again, to that point, why isn't he using any telepathy at all?
To try to make somebody fight somebody else?
Anything. He's not doing anything. There's no tension because he simply is a piece of meat who turns around, who is begging, fucking shoot me. And he doesn't start his bomb. It's idiotic.
You know what I want to hear is when you say, shoot me, and it's, Mama, shoot me.
I am really annoyed that the gorillas have weapons with guns, and even though they said they're defenseless, they're not doing the things they were able to do to Taylor. And they got them to see some visions. Maybe they're not effective, but at least I want to see them try.
Yeah, there should have been scenes of telepaths making apes fight each other, shooting each other, but then they're breaking through and getting killed.
Like that scene at the steps. If it had been 5 of the telepaths lined up, and they
all work in
conjunction,
do that
mentally thing where they're doing something to confuse the apes, but the apes, one of the 2 apes break through and just start shooting them.
Right.
Then it feels like there was at least a line of defense at some point that was.
But this is
trying.
A film that has looked at characterization across the board. Cornelius, 0. Even Ursus has been kind of all over the place at times where he's very militaristic, go annihilate everything, and then he's kind of sheepish. Well, whatever. Zaius doesn't have a consistent characterization. God help us if the mutants had a consistent characterization, because suddenly the movie would make sense. They don't take the time to actually lay out the groundwork for how this film is supposed to work, and they abandon it entirely.
Yeah.
5 more minutes, guys.
I was about to say, so Richard, when we started off on this journey, this is pull back the curtain time on Men of the Apes.
We didn't start with Richard. So
no, we didn't.
We apologize for roping
But
you
for
into
Beneath,
I also apologize to your husband for roping you into this.
Well, no, I want to go into this. The reason we began this is Sean had asked me for a long time. He wanted to do a podcast. Let's find something. We toss ideas out, and we did the Planet of the Apes. We end up having you on as our second guest, and this is no way, pushing aside the first guest, who's my friend Jeff, who I do another podcast with. But it's that you added such a great component. You're here in Dallas. We knew we could do that.
Right. You about to ask me if I'm coming back after this movie?
Are you done?
Please don't quit.
Will you accept this rose?
Please don't quit. Yeah. But seriously, we started down this journey, and here we are 5 minutes from the end. The end is right next to us.
Oh.
I swear to you, as my friends, the next movie ain't this bad.
I actually
know
like
you
this
do.
Movie. I like this movie, but I see all of its flaws, but I still liked it.
I am so glad you do. I remember going back as the little boy watching this, and even when I watched it, I was kind of like, what? It just never felt right to me, and then I get to Escape, and I was like, oh my God, I love that movie.
Now, I might have been disappointed had I gone to the box office at this era to watch it.
Uh-huh.
But looking at it, knowing it's a part of a series, knowing the stuff that is coming, knowing what it was, I can appreciate it for what it is, even though there are a lot of flaws.
I will say this. I think that doing this with you guys has made me appreciate the film more because I can see what it should have been.
I think doing this, you guys, makes me hate this movie a whole. Well, I take it back. Hate is an active emotion. I do not choose to think about this movie because it is not good.
No, it's not good, but I really do. And it's been partially talking it through with you guys.
How could have been better?
That's right. If you just pepper in some of this logic that I think Dane had there, and again, if he'd been given a little more time, he would have found it himself.
Sure.
All right, Todd, it's time to start the 5 movie sequels to the first 3 movies and figure out the logic to make it all work right.
You're winding it down, and we still have a couple of minutes left. So.
No,
we got 5 more minutes left.
I'm winding it down because of this. Guys, next week, that's it. Beneath the Planet of the Apes is over.
Yeah.
That's why I'm winding it down. I'm at least peppering. So come Monday, you guys get the last 5 minutes of this movie. Mm-hmm. We'll tease into it. Then we will jump right into Escape. Our plan is not to take a huge break. I do have to have shoulder surgery, so we're going to take a couple of weeks off while I at least get to the point where I'm not on some kind of medication.
Or at least the medication.
But that may not be known to the audience.
Well, we're saying that because our plan is this, we're going to stop down, but last time we took, a couple of months off? I think we had about 6 weeks. We're not taking that this time. Our intent is that when you finish Beneath the Planet of the Apes, the next week you get Escape. We're going to do that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because we banked enough episodes that we've got a August to November buffer that we're going to try to work that through.
So you guys get the word out there. Let your friends know. I know there are a ton of you. I talked to you on the Facebook groups. I know you love Planet of the Apes.
Facebook.
You know what? The Facebooks. And the Twitters and the MySpaces.
Trust me.
And the comics. Spaces.
Okay, what am I supposed to say? On a Facebook group? No, it's
on Facebook groups. On Facebook.
On Facebook. Just say on Facebook.
There are 2 Facebook groups. There are 2 Facebook groups, and I talk to the people on there. I know you love these films. I know you love talking about them. Get the word out to all your friends. I try my best to let you guys know where they are. We would love to have everybody jump on with us. And we're going to do our best to actually get guests in on this next one. We've talked about that for a while. We're going to do that. Who knows? Maybe we'll pull in some fans every once in a while and let them talk with us. Sound fair enough?
You want to be on?
Sure.
Richard gives me the sure look. Anyway, that's Friday. That's it. We will be back next week to wrap up this film. You guys have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you then.
Bye. Friday.
Beneath the Minute of the Apes. Beneath the Minute of the Apes. Beneath the Minute of the Apes.
The only good human is a dead human.